To me, this looks like being accountable for upholding equitable standards on and off the field that will encourage diversity and inclusivity for all people. It also means not shying away from the tough conversations when you see others preventing the progression of inclusivity for underrepresented groups. This applies for all areas of sports, that being the leagues, the media, and sports fans alike. To truly make an impact on the culture surrounding sports, I think seeking out equity that goes beyond our own moral standards is crucial, as this is something that requires the initiative of everyone to accomplish.
To me, accountability in regards to diversity and inclusion in the workplace means exactly that. It means holding people accountable for their actions and their words in the workplace. It also includes having the conversation surrounding diversity and inclusion because that's the start of how we can normalize diversity. Accountability for me also means being brave enough to correct people if they use incorrect terms or if they are being discriminatory, because there's no way for people in any industry at all to learn to grow and accept change if we can't stand up and tell them why it's wrong and why we need diversity.
Accountability pertaining to diversity and inclusion in sports to me looks like an industry where everyone is upholding the same level of respect for each other. This includes those in the front offices, the athletes in the sports themselves, and of course those in the media. There should also be people of every single identity, including those of race, gender, and sexuality, and those of underrepresented identities should be given more important and more visible roles so that every single viewer and fan is able to see themselves represented in the media and sports that they consume. There should also be never-ending conversations about ways to better the industry in terms of inclusion and diversity, and through those conversations, people should hold each other accountable and always strive to improve, never finishing.
When it comes to accountability and inclusion in sports, it's all about working together as a team to embrace change and advocate for diversity and inclusion in all aspects of sports, whether it be on the playing field, on social media, or at work. The sports landscape is rapidly shifting, and it's important that we have these tough conversations and give everyone an equal voice. It's important that we stay educated on issues going on in the world today.
When I think about what accountability pertaining to diversity and inclusion in sport looks like to me, it is all about representation. This isn't about checking a box, filling a quota, or making sure everyone has a seat at the table solely to keep up appearances and to make it look like you're a diverse company. It is about giving these minority groups, whether that be cultural, sexual orientation, gender, or any combination of the three, the platform to be seen and heard and allow them to share their stories. I want to get to a point in the sports industry where it isn't about who is first, but rather who is next. And people never have to wonder why they don't see someone who looks like them on screen, because everybody is equally represented and celebrated.
So accountability revolution to me looks like diversity and inclusion in itself. This means diversity in all aspects of sports, meaning on the field, the media, as well as the business side. It means not making sure that corporations and organizations are genuine in their quest for diversity and inclusion, and not just doing this to satisfy the masses. Not doing it as a publicity stunt per se, but actually striving to make change in these particular areas. And when I mean diversity, not only based on ethnicity, but also gender. To me, most importantly, it means not being afraid to talk about hard-hitting issues, and rather than running away from them, working towards recognizing these issues and tackling them head on. This is the only way we can really make change moving forward.
Accountability and revolution to me looks like representation and diversity in sports, both on the field and in the media side of things. It is diversity in terms of ethnicity, but also gender as well. It is about seeing these various issues and holding people accountable and not shying away from the conversation, and instead joining in and tackling away the barriers head on.
Accountability pertaining to diversity and inclusion in sports would look like equal hiring practices to include women and people of color to be in more prominent positions, equal opportunity and representation in the media for leagues such as the WNBA to be seen, and for younger generations to have role models on TV that they can grow up idolizing. And people continuing the conversation on the inequity, discrimination, and lack of diversity that there is in sport today.
To me, accountability pertaining diversity and inclusivity means having difficult conversations about minority struggles that so often get swept under the rug, especially by major leagues. We have to do a better job in our advocacy and hold organizations accountable for their performative activism and make sure that they create opportunities for marginalized communities that goes beyond their 2 seconds of tokenism. It's high time the industry recognizes the flaws of the system that make athletes feel unsafe to open up about their struggles.
To me, it is acknowledging the fact that for a long time and to this day, sports is exclusive and fails to represent a lot of minority groups. And it's being accountable for the mistakes of representation that are going on in sport media and in leagues right now. At the same time, I think it is realizing that we are in the position to create change and start a more diverse and inclusive environment. We need to use our position to better the sports world and include the voices of minority individuals. It's that step to see more representation in sports that's what's really important.
Acceptance.
Personnel.
Unity.
Representation.
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 Equality.
Recognition.
Culture.